Happy New Year, everybody. Today is Gotham, the return of Gotham, and we are watching Gotham, Season 1, Episode 11, Rogues Gallery. So what do I have to say about this episode? There is a lot of stuff that happened in this episode, specifically within Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum, for those of you that don't know, is the prison where a lot of Batman's Rogue Gallery will be hanging out one day. And in this episode, that was something that I wasn't expecting to see Batman's Rogue Gallery in prison, because obviously a lot of them are young and they're not at that point yet, except for Penguin, who's probably the closest to being the villain that we're supposed to know. And I have a feeling by the end of the season, we will see Penguin as the first established Batman villain. But what I was expecting from this episode was that we were going to get more from the villains. I thought we were going to get a lot more Edward Nygma. I thought we were going to get a lot more Selena Kyle, Poison Ivy, and Penguin himself, too. And we didn't get a lot of those characters being focused on. As a matter of fact, they were probably the least focused on the episode, because the most focused on the episode was the story within Gotham. Within Arkham. But, you know, it was still an enjoyable episode, and I'm gonna get through that right now. First of all, I gotta mention that scene in the beginning, when we saw that riot going on. There was that little musical that they were putting on, and to me, I thought to myself, man, is someone on the writers, table on a little bit of crack over there? Because, yeah, no musical, please, no more. You guys clearly don't have people that write good music for that, so don't do that no more. But then things got crazy and a fight broke out and Gordon started getting blamed, and I have to say, I hated the guy who was in charge of Arkham in this episode. The guy was annoying, and I'm glad they got Bullock later in the episode and he called the guy out on everything. Like, hey, if one of your security guards are saying that there's something wrong and that you should call the police, you should call the damn police, because, yeah, I mean, you put him in charge of security for a reason. Clearly, some of this is getting out of hand. And for some reason, he doesn't want the police, so it sounds like he's hiding something. Everything Bullock said was spot on and exactly what I thought. And I'm glad they kind of put that guy in his place. But he died at the end without really learning anything, so that kind of sucks. But for the most part, it was... that guy, he was annoying. Second of all, we got Poison Ivy and Catwoman hanging out like friends. Poison Ivy's a little sick, and they go to Gordon's apartment, which seems like the only purpose that they served in this episode was to ruin Barbara and Gordon's relationship. Because, this show needs more drama for the sake of drama, right? Because let's face it, the weakest part of this show is Barbara and Gordon's relationship. They're causing this drama for no reason, and it's no reason at all, because Montoya even decides to break it off because she thinks it was a mistake. So basically, that whole plot line went nowhere. And then we got Fish Mooney. She's dealing with her own issues with one of her men, and it seemed like he was gonna backstab her and betray her. But it seems like this guy that she has is loyal to him to the end. So that's, I guess that was pretty cool. I actually thought he was going to go with his brother. And it looks like, nope, he's sticking with Fish. So that's good on her part. She knows she at least has someone on her side. Because Penguin is against her, and Mooney is against her, and Falcone might be against her, but I'm not too clear on that. But yeah, things are going interesting, I guess, on that part. Penguin gets knocked out in this episode, gets put in jail because Mooney thinks he's starting to step out of some boundaries that he shouldn't be stepping. And will Penguin learn these lessons, or will he use this against him at some time when he has the chance. We already know that Penguin is already double-crossing Mooney. So, will, he really want to get revenge on Mooney for this? We'll have to wait and see. We know Penguin's up to something, and he's working with Falcone. Falcone knows this, that he's working quietly for Mooney. So, at some point, Penguin's gonna double-cross both of them, I think. And, yeah, that's all I can say on that part, because not really much happened with Penguin aside for, getting punched out and put in jail to be taught a lesson in this episode, which I'm kind of sad, because Penguin is one of the best characters on this show. So I'm kind of sad they didn't use him a little bit more. It's like they were burning him, slow burning him a little bit in this one. And like I said before, Arkham Asylum plays a really big part in this episode, but the fact is we don't really get a lot of characters that we know that are in Arkham. So, and the episode is called Rogues Gallery. So are some of these characters that we saw in the prison going to be our Rogues Gallery for the series, or what? I'm going to have to say that they did trick me, though, because I wasn't expecting the guy at the end, the inmate who was the Shakespearean guy, I guess. I wasn't expecting him to be the one who was behind it all. I actually did think it was the nurse, and I should have figured it wasn't, because it was too easy to because I guessed a long time ago that she was behind it. And then they did point the fingers at her, and I guess that's what they wanted us to think, that it was her, because she did look weird. She reminded me of the nurse from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, so that's why, and she looked weird, so I'm very judgmental, so, that's why I thought it was her, and then it turned out to be the other guy who, okay, I didn't expect that, and that was cool. We also got our first look at Dr. Leslie Tompkins, who is a lot more older in other versions that I've seen her in. Batman the Animated Series, for those of you that obviously never watched that. She was a character in that cartoon too, who was Bruce's psychiatrist, who helped Bruce during his depression era of being when he was a kid after his parents were murdered. So will we see some interaction between her and Bruce? I don't know, but I'm totally looking forward to seeing that, if that comes to pass. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of let down, though, that the actual Rogues Gallery didn't play a larger role in this episode. But for the most part, it was a good episode. Still fun, enjoyable. The ending wasn't, the ending I was expecting. There was kind of a twist there that I wasn't seeing. Maybe I'm, a little slow on that part, but I thought it was a good twist. I thought it was the nurse. It turned out to be someone else who was causing all the problems the entire time. So, bravo to you writers and producers there. You guys got me. So, until next week, I don't know what the hell's going on next week because I didn't see the preview. I like to be surprised. I'll probably check it out on YouTube or something later on. But for the most part, yeah, enjoyable episode. It was a nice episode to come back to, and I'm looking forward to next week. So, until then, take care.